You're tuned into Visions, a business and community affairs program designed to encourage and promote entrepreneurship in Central Alabama.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Visions, and Happy New Year to you. We are excited about our guest this morning, the Honorable Mayor Todd Strain. He came in to see us and wish us New Year's greeting. Mayor, thanks for being with us on the program.
And Happy New Year.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you know, you made an announcement the other day. I want to get straight to it, and we tried to call your office and get you down here as soon as we could, because I saw the live announcement from here at the station where you were and the governor and commissioner talking about the F-35 fighter jet project.
Yeah, that was a really nice Christmas present for our community in the state of Alabama. And obviously I was, the face of that, but I got to tell you, there was a great team put in place. It reminded me of the Hyundai effort that this whole community came together, including our media and the citizens community. They were all involved. And this is a lot different from the traditional economic development project. Most of the time you're in confidentiality. Well, this is right there, in all of the world to see. And the leadership that we had there, and certainly our senators and our legislative representatives all played a great role. But at the end of the day, it was the prowess of the 187th, men and women out there who have a very distinguished. That gave us a leg up, and then certainly the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen continuing. All of that came together with a great effort, and we were very pleased. But now the work begins. We've got to build gates and roads and hangars and aprons and perhaps even an extension of cross runway. So we've got a couple of years to get that accomplished.
The Secretary of the Air Force, I believe her name is Heather
Wilson.
And
correct.
So did you know if she was going to call that day?
No, we had been led to believe that a decision would be made either Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday came and went, nothing happened. And then about 8:15 on Thursday, she called the governor. And I was pleased to get the call from the governor to say, while we couldn't say anything about it, it was embargoed until 11:30, that we'd be smiling come 11:30. And then obviously the governor's office put together that press conference and had it out at the 187th. This was a great effort because the federal government and the federal representatives had their role, the state had its role, the county and the city had their role, and certainly the military had a role. And all of those people played it exceptionally well, and we came together to accomplish that mission, which had been over a 2-year period of time.
Now the two-star general was also there, and I guess she's the commander of that. The unit.
TAG,
the
Adjutant General, relatively new, but a female, working with a female, with some leadership female at the legislature, federal, with Terry Sewell and Martha Roby. Senator Shelby obviously had a great role in that. Then you got a female governor. So I was kidding at a little celebration that we had that this was a female success. And it was, and we celebrate that. But obviously, some of the guys played a role as well.
Well, the leaders who are also women, and so
Paul Hankins and Leslie Sanders were in fact the volunteer chair people of that committee, and there were a lot of people. I don't know whether you know Colonel Roosevelt Lewis. He's head of the Tuskegee Airmen, lives actually in Mobile. He really played a big role because, that was the degree of difference, because all of the five, we were essentially equal in operational. We did have a cost advantage, but nobody had the legacy of the Tuskegee.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I wanted to segue to, is to talk about the Red Tails and how that all factored into the proposal to the Secretary.
I think it played a great role. We certainly played it up, rightfully so. And I was just yesterday talking to Tony Haygood, the mayor of Tuskegee, because they got their own proposal, the T-100, which is a trainer to replace the F-37 or 38. At the end of the day, it's an entirely different process, because here we were selecting a unit and a geographical area. For that, they got to select a company, because Boeing and Lockheed Martin and an Italian company, the Italian company is tied to Tuskegee. So they got to sell the company as well as selling molten field. Molten field is an easy sell.
Yeah.
The harder sell is a foreign company, given the emphasis on Buy America with the Trump administration. But it's not, because it's really going to come down to a life cycle cost. At the end of the day, it's a life cycle cost, and if that company can be competitive, and it has a good track record, they make good aircraft, but it's all been European, and so Tuskegee could be successful. As I said, I talked to the mayor, and gave him some of the information that we had, and I think again, Colonel Lewis can play a great role. The local community, you know, Fred Gray and Milton Davis and some of those people need to be involved, and others that perhaps they're at the federal level, because at the end of the day, there's going to be some conversation with Mike Rogers, who represents that district.
Well, it would be an Italian company, but American jobs. It
would be American job, and it'll be an American company. The parent company would be Italian, and parts would be made, components would be made all over the United States.
Yes, and I understand that the economic impact of jobs for that project would be around 750 total over the period of years. But I wanted to ask you also, someone asked me the other day about the economic impact of the F-35 project in this region.
Well, my real answer is, you know, check with me in about 20 years and I'll tell you. But obviously, the biggie is we saved 1,400 jobs because in the 2025 time frame, the F-16s would have gone away. And while we may have gotten a flying mission, there really aren't a lot of those around. So we had a high possibility of losing up to 1,400 jobs. So we save those. We get a lot of economic impact from the $40 or $50 million that's going to be here. Bedding down F-35s, there are more technicians per unit than with an F-16. We can go up to 24 units versus the traditional 18. And so at the end of the day, we've heard numbers from 100 million to 1 billion. I don't think it's 1 billion, but the interesting deal is when you tie the F-35 into all the other technologies that we are doing, it is going to drive that. And so when you marry those two technologies, because this is the most sophisticated weapon system and avionics in the world, and so to the extent that you've got that, and we've now got the internet exchange here, it will be a significant economic impact. And if I had to guess over a per year basis over 20 years, it's going to be in that $80 to $100 million range.
Wow, wow, wow.
Not chicken feed.
No, not at all, not at all. Well, when you talk about economic impact and technology, you've got an innovation center that you're in General Quast.
Innovation District, plus the center that General Quast quasi-announced. He's had a vision for a long time of being able to bring a cadre of people, very bright people, maybe not military people, people that might have some flip-flops and earrings and things like that, but they can solve wicked problems.
They can do the work.
They can do the work. And so he wanted to, outside the wire. He talked to me about a year ago, and we started working on that, and I think we're now ready for that to be authorized, and it will be somewhere in downtown because it needs to be closer to the internet exchange, and whether it's close on Commerce or whether it's on Dexter, those decisions have to be made now because it's our desire really to get it up and running in the first quarter, because all you really need is some computers and some tables and the fiber to get to the internet exchange, because the internet exchange is where all the exchange is going to be done and where all the data can be shared.
Well, and that was the next question about the internet exchange. So you've created this exchange, you've expanded the internet capacity in the region, and that's helping to facilitate a lot of things.
Absolutely. Chambers, the military kind of got us kicked off with this with Joe Green, a guy named Lou Alachi, who runs the IT for the city and the county, and his people really have taken the ball. The city and the county have funded it. We probably have $400,000 or $500,000 in it, but now we got, and obviously Dr. Bronner and the RSA, it was there. It's a high security area, so it just made all the sense in the world. Our utility companies are playing a major role. We have over 25 companies, international companies, that are either providing content or a charter or a WOW, being able to provide local service, but also international service because of a company called Akamai, as well as Hurricane Electric. It's not a household name, but they have connectivity all the way to Europe and to Asia. And obviously with some of our Asian companies, that's very, very helpful. But as I said, we have 25 companies, including AUM, which is our first academic institution to be able to join. And we have visions of doubling that within the next year or two, because we've now got an advisory board made up of some of the members, the internet service providers, as well as the content providers. And Carl Barranco actually has been tasked by us to lead this technology effort. There's so many facets. The Internet Exchange was the beginning, and it's the major tool. But now we've got coding academy opportunities. We've got application opportunities, and certainly we're going to be working on this, what is generically called Air Force Works, but it also could be a private company. Right now, Boyd Stevens has got a big effort going in a co-works location that Tom Blunt and Randall Williams actually owns right across from the chamber, and I think you're going to see more of that. Our two-year school system is doing coding academies now. We've got a private sector at Rod Frazier. He's developed an opportunity to do private coding and other certifications. So we're beginning to be known as a tech hub. The other day somebody referred to Austin, Texas, Huntsville, Alabama, and Montgomery, Alabama in the same tech language. So that made me really proud.
Excellent. Well, I'll tell you what, Mayor, we're going to have to invite you back because we're already close on time. I want to ask you one question in about 1 minute. You talked about a youth initiative that you're working on. And that's going to lead us into education initiative, which we'll have to talk about next time, but just your youth initiative project that you got going on.
What we want to do is we want every young person, and there are 20,000 plus in public education, to have a mentor. We want parents to get parenting skills, training, and also conflict resolution, and our police department is going to lead that effort. All of that's going to be taking place in the first quarter, because that leads to better education, to less crime, to more involvement in our youth, giving them the skills so that when we need these technicians to service the F-35 out there, we'll have them readily available through our school system.
Excellent. All right, well, since you mentioned first quarter, we're going to invite you back in first quarter so we can talk some more. We really need to talk about the education. And so that's going to do it for us on this segment of Visions. Mayor, thanks for coming to be with us. And that's going to do it for us with the Honorable Mayor Todd Strange, the City of Montgomery. Thanks for him coming to be with us. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.